Hello guys, welcome once again to my channel. Now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to correct a few things that we did yesterday. So quickly, when we go to the data, so this is the same data that we used yesterday, so I'm going to go through that same step in computing the whole thing. So we are going to start from so we've gotten rid of the annual column, and then for 1995 and 2021. Now what is left is the yearly average. So I'm going to start from the yearly average here. So let's do that. So for the yearly average, we have equal to the sum. So it becomes the sum into brackets. We have so what you are going to do is that for the first video I selected the whole thing from January to December, but then for this time what we have to do is select from July all the way to December, and then that will be that. Then let's call this one yearly average. Okay, so for this one we have the sum equal to the sum, then into bracket we have so you select from July all the way to December, and then you close the brackets, and then because it is for 6 months, we divide by 6. For the first video I divided by 12, so this time you divide by 6, and then you have your yearly average as that. And then for 1996 to 2021 is going to be different. So for that one, what you do is the sum, then select from January all the way to December, and then for that one you divide by 12. So because from 1996 all the way to 2020, it is a 12-month period, so I'm going to autofill all the way to 2020, all the way to 2020, yeah. And then for 2021 we have 7 months because the month ends at July. So for that one it's going to be equal to the sum of so for that one you just have to select from January all the way to July, and then you close it. Then for that one you divide by 7 because we have January, February, March, April, May, June and July, and then you get your yearly average, and then you give some space, and then we have standard deviation. So for the standard deviation we do same here. So we have from equal to the STDEV, then dot S, then into brackets. So for that one we also select from July to December, and then close the brackets. So July to December, and then close the brackets and just press enter, and that gives you the standard deviation for that. And then for the next part, because for this one 1996 to 2020 starts from January, you just have to do that one. So you select from January all the way to December, and then you divide that by, so you divide that by, okay, so for this one we don't divide, the standard deviation. So sorry, it is STDEV dot S. Okay, and then you have your standard deviation. So from here you autofill to 2020. So autofill to 2020, and then for 2021 you have to do it as equal to STDEV dot X here. Then you have into brackets. So we select from January all the way to July, and then press enter. So that will be the standard deviation. And we do same for the first quarter. So let's call the first column first quarter. So what we are trying to do is that for 1995 and 2021 you have to do them manually. Like you have to take your time and do them, because this day is not a full month, but then half of the year. So you have to do them manually. But then when you are able to do for 1996, you can auto fill all the way to 2020, because that one is a full year, so it has the 12 months. And then so with the first quarter we have equal to quarter. Then what you do is to select from July. So you select from July to December, and then comma, then you add 1 to it for the first quarter, and then you enter, and then it gives you that. And then for 1996 we have equal to quarter, then into bracket we have so there is quarter, then you select from January all the way to December, and then comma, then 1, and then you enter. So for that one you can autofill all the way to 2020, and then for 2021 you have to do it manually. So we have equal to the quarter, then into brackets you select from January to July, and then comma, 1, and then you enter. So that will be the respective quarter. And then from here, the third one, we have the third quarter. So we can have the third quarter here. And then for the third quarter we have so for 1995 we have equal to quarter, and then you select from July all the way to December, and then comma, and then you add 1 to it, and then you close it and press enter. And then for 1996 you just have quarter, and then to bracket we have we select from January all the way to December, and then comma, and you add 3 to it, and then press enter. So what you do for 1996 is that you can autofill all the way to 2020, and then this one is supposed to be 3, because we are doing the third quarter. And then for the 2021 we have from so equal to the quarter, and then we have from January all the way to July, and then comma, and you have 3 to it, close the bracket, and then you have the quarter for that also. So now we have calculated for each and every one of them. Now the next thing is to so the next thing that we have to do is to now get the frequency distribution table. Now in order for you to get the, because you are going to use the frequency distribution table to do the histogram. So what we are going to do is that we are going to find the monthly maximum temperature for all the years, and then we are also going to find the monthly minimum temperature for all the years. So what you can do is that you can put it here. So we have max, and then we can have minimum here. Now the reason why we are doing something like this is because drawing the frequency distribution table, you have to get an interval, and before you can get the interval, you have to know we are going to use the maximum temperatures in the histogram, and then also the frequency distribution table. But then you have to know your maximum monthly temperature value and also your minimum temperature value, and then from there you can know the interval to give within those ranges. So in order for you to get the interval for all the years, what you have to do is so we have maximum year. So what you do is to appear here, so you can have maximum. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that, because I want to find the maximum temperature and also the minimum temperature, let me create another column. So create another column, and let's call this one maximum, and let's call this one minimum. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to select the whole of this, and then move to so we are still at home, and then go to where you see the summation sign, and then select maximum. So select maximum, and then what it has done is that among all the monthly values in 1995, is saying that 33.22 is the maximum value among all the values. So all you can do is to just autofill for the rest, and then it gives you the respective ones that are maximum in each case. And then also for the minimum one, you also do the same. So all you do is to select the whole of that, and then select minimum. So it's also telling us that in 1995 the minimum value here is just 29.69, which is provided. So what you can do is to autofill for the rest also. Autofill for the rest. Autofill for the last part also. Okay, so these are the respective value in each and every case. So for this one too, you can just put them into decimal places. So you just and then select number, and then put everything into decimal place. So now we have our maximum and also our minimum value. But then among this maximum and minimum value, which of the value you have to find which of the values is also maximum and which one of them is also minimum. So we can do that here. So let me call this one here as maximum, and then call this one here just below the column, and then I'm going to select everything, the maximum values, and then go back to the auto sum, and then select maximum. So realize that it has given me the maximum value, which is 42.37 among all the values here. And then also I select all of this, and then choose the minimum value, and then it gives me the minimum value. So we have the maximum value and also the minimum value. Now what we are going to do next is to look at it critically here. So now we've gotten our monthly value, we've gotten our minimum value, we've gotten everything. So what we do next is to find the interval, right? So our maximum value we had to be the maximum value here to be 42.37. So let's put it there. So we have 42.37, and then our minimum value was 29.49. So now what we are going to do is to find a width. And then the formula is the maximum value minus the minimum value divided by the interval. So let me make this so we have the maximum value minus the minimum value divided by the number of intervals. So the maximum value, which is 42.35, minus the minimum value, which is 29.49, and then divided by the number of intervals. So the number of interval in this case is 5. So depending on the graph, so we have it to be 2.576, but then approximately 2.6. Okay, so since we have our width, what we are going to do is to now get the intervals now. So quickly, since our width is this one, and then our minimum value, we had the minimum value to be 29.49. What we are going to do is to take the minimum value that we got, which is 29.49. Now that is, in my case, that is 29.49, but then in your case, because you are using a different data, different coordinates, it's going to be different. So make sure when you solve for the width, you put it in just one decimal place, approximately that, and then you take your lower limit, which is your minimum value, and then you add it to the width that you got. So when you add it up, and then when you add the whole of that, you are just going to get something like 32.09. That's what you are going to get. And then so when you get, so your first table has to be 29.49, which is the first lower limit, and then you add the 2.6 to it. So the next one is going to be so for the next one, I'm just going to have 32.09, and then you add 2.6 to this one again, and then you get 34.69, and then you keep adding 2.6 to it, and then you add, we're going to get 37.449, and then the next one is just going to be, so you are going to do it until you get your maximum value. So our maximum value in this case is just 42.37. So when we get to the maximum value, then we stop. So we add it up again, and then we have 39.89, and then you add it up again, and then you get 42.49. That's what you get in this case. Remember, it's an interval, so you can have an interval in each case. Okay, now these are your lower limits. What you have to do next is to get the upper limit, and you get the upper limit, you have to get something closer to your lower limit, but then it should be greater than your lower limit. So what we are going to do is to take the second part here. So we have 32.0, so it is 09, but then it's going to be 08. So the difference here is just going to be 0.01 in each and every case, but then the difference here is just your 2.6. Your difference here should just be which is 0.01 in this case. So the next one is just going to be 34 points, and then because this is 69, we're just going to do it as 6, 8 in this case, and then the next one is just going to be 37.48. So this is 49, so it's 48 here, and then the next one is going to be 39.88, and then this one you're just going to get 42.48, and then for the last part you just add 2.6 to it, which is just 45.09 in this case. So these are your intervals. So now we've gotten the interval for the monthly maximum temperature. Now what we have to do next is to find the frequency. For the tally, we are going to draw the tally based on the frequency. So The next thing is to get the frequency. So what I'm going to do is to Alright, so now I've inputted whatever thing we have here. So whatever thing we have here, place everything here. So what we are going to do now is to compute the frequency. So for you to compute the frequency, you have to use this formula. So we have equal to the count. So we have count if. So let me put let me write the formula. So we have equal to the count if, and then what we do is to select the cell. So you select the cell, but then it has to be, there has to be the dollar sign in it. So you start with dollar, and then from there you select the cell. So let's say if the cell is A2, so we have, you can put another dollar sign there, and then so dollar sign, and then 2, and we have that, and then another dollar sign, so another dollar sign, and then if it is to be another dollar sign, if it is to be 4, you select that, and then from there you just put a comma, and then inverted comma, and then you just take less than, so less than or equal to the lower limit. So the lower limit, you select the lower limit, and then you close it, and then you add a comma, then it's just the same thing again. So pick the same thing again, and then we add comma to it, and then your inverted comma, and then this time it will be less than or equal to the upper limit, and then you close it, and you put it in the bracket, and then you enter. So this is just an example to that, but I'm going to do it for you guys to see. So over here, so it is count if. So we have count ifs, there's x here. So let's do it. So we have count ifs, then into bracket. What we do is to select the data from 1995 January, everything to 2021, everything, all the, it's only the data part. So it is to December here. So we're selecting from 1995 January all the way to December, and then 2021 all the way to the last part. So we select all of that, and then so it's already here. So what you do next is, so let's select that again. Let's select it again. So select all of that to 2021, and then you just add the dollar sign that is before the number. So before the number, and also before the letter. So the dollar sign, and then also we do same here. Dollar sign here. And then the reason why we are putting dollar sign is because it's going to make everything easier for us. So I'm just going to autofill and then just do the changes. So you see how it works. And then comma, and then the first one is that we have the inverted comma, and then it is so because it is a lower limit, we expect that we are taking values. It is 29.49, so we are taking values that are greater or equal to the lower limit. So we have 29.49, which is the lower limit here, right? And then we just close the inverted comma, and then we have that comma, and then you do for the second part again, so you can quickly copy the whole of that again. So you copy that and then you can just paste it here. And then start with an inverted comma. This one is less than. So this one we are taking values that are less or equal to the upper limit. Less or equal to the upper limit. So we have less or equal to the upper limit, and the upper limit is 32.08, and then remember to close it with the inverted comma and then close the bracket and then hit enter. So realize that value between 29.49 to 32.38 is okay. So you realize that we had 80 for the first one, which is the frequency for the first one. Now what we are going to do is to autofill for the rest. When you autofill for the rest, you are just going to get 83, but then you would have to edit it. The reason why you got 80 because it is still using the interval for the first one, that is for the rest of it. So you have to edit it. So you have to change the lower limit here too. So in this case, the lower limit here is just 32.0909, and then in this case the upper limit here is just 34 points. So we have 34.68, and then you enter, then it gives you the values, and then you change for the next one also, which is 34.69, and then the upper limit here is just 37, so 37.48, and then you enter, then it gives you the value, and then you do for the fourth one. So we have the lower limit 37.49, and then we have this one to be 39.88, and then you enter, then it gives you the value for that. And then we come to this part, and then you have the values, the lower limit to be 39.89, and then change this one to 42.48, and then you enter, then it gives you that. And then for the last part, you just so for that one you just have the lower limit to 42.49, which I think will be 0 because the upper limit, the maximum value is just at 42.37, and then if you look at this interval, it's even more than that, so it will basically be 0 for that. So let's run it and see. So we have 0 for that. Now another way to check is for you to sum them all up, and then when you sum them all up, it should just give you something like this. So we have the month multiplied by the number of years, which is 27 years. So when you multiply them, you just get 324. And then remember, for the 1995 we took 6 months out, that is from January to July, so that is 6 months we took it out, and therefore so we subtract that from it. And then what is then for 2021 we also took 5 months out, that is from August to December. So when we subtract that, we just have a total of 313. So which means that when you run the whole of that, you should get something like 313. So let's sum them up and then see what we're just going to get. So equal to the sum, and then you select from the top, the end, and then you enter. Okay, so when you enter, you realize that we just have everything to 313. So you realize that the last part, which is the interval 42.9 to 45.09, is basically 0. So you can just omit that one out, or you can add it to your graph. And then sometimes too, where depending on your data, maybe some months may have the same value, so you can get like some of the months having the same values. So for that one, it can change your total sum, it can change your frequency, and then you would have to look through and then check, because you have to count down 1-2 times for the frequency. So if your value is not up to, and if your value does not sum up to the 313, then which means that you made a mistake somewhere, probably the intervals you entered, or somewhere. So you just have to check that, and then you make sure you get your sum to be that. So we have the frequency table. So we have our maximum temperature, our frequency, and then also our tally. So what you can do from here is to now draw the histogram, and in drawing the histogram, you are just going to use your interval and then also your monthly values, that is the frequency that you have obtained. So what we are going to select this cell, and then so copy that and then put it somewhere here into a single cell. And then you can take all these cells also, you copy that and also paste it here. Alright, so now you have your maximum temperature and then the frequency. So what we can do is to select the values that you have, and then go to insert, and then you select the histogram. Select this, and then so select this, and then it gives you the histogram. So you realize that we have the intervals here, the intervals. So the first one is just 2.49 to 32.08. So we have them here, and then that range, they have about 80 values, as you can see, and then the rest follows like that. So you can have your histogram that way. So I think that is all for now. So thank you very much for watching, and then I'll see you guys again.